Where are you guys right now?
This is the trick question.
Yes, as people are listening to this show, where are you guys?
I am in Alexandria, Virginia, which is a suburb
that's
of
not
Washington,
why
D.C.
we're doing this show. We're pre-recording this show.
So do I say where I actually am in this moment in time, or where am I when we're airing this?
Yeah. Yeah. Where
You can't say yeah to that question.
Yes. Where are you when you're airing it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to be playing in a tournament in Destin, Florida, a beach volleyball tournament that is going to be taking place on our recording day.
There we go.
Yeah. So
And
I'm going to be
where are
losing
you?
a tournament in all likelihood.
Well, on Wednesday, I will be back in Alexandria, Virginia. The standard recording time, I'll be in the DC area. Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm the one who's fucking this up.
Yes.
I thought that both
saying.
of you were gone.
No, he was.
I
I asked to move it to the day before. He has a Scotland situation.
Yeah, and I'm coming back early in order to be here on a. No, I'm fine. I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, then what are we doing? Oh, I guess it was
I
just
can't
you
record.
just can't do it that week.
You guys couldn't do it Tuesday. You didn't want to move it to the weekend. It's me.
I'm
this is
gonna
me
be-
being
yeah.
a problem.
All right.
But I
let's
can't
cut
reschedule this
Is
tournament.
bad. I thought this was going to be cute. I thought it was going to be Florida, Scotland. Let's go.
Okay. Well, you're like, where are you? And I'm like, sitting right next to you.
God. All right. We're going to restart it. We're going to keep it pithy. We're going to keep it cute. We're going to move on.
I think you should
All
air
right.
this whole shit show.
Fuck. God damn it. Now it's too good. And we have to air the shit show because we're laughing. God damn it. All right.
But
whatever.
I'm physically sitting right
You're
next to
physically
you.
sitting here now, but we're doing an AMA.
Okay. Sounds great.
People have been sending stuff in on my Discord and our Patreon.
Okay. Well,
And so
at
we will
least-
be doing 2 blocks of this, one for the Patreon and one for the main show. We begin. Well, here, you actually, there's categories. So the categories are show host questions, politics and society questions, pop culture and entertainment questions, gaming questions, impressions and personality, and spicy personal. Heaton, where would you like to go first on the board?
I want to go with impressions.
Okay.
You would want to go for
Who
impressions.
are each of your best celebrity or politician impressions?
On my end, I feel like I do a real good William Shatner. I do a pretty good Nixon. And apparently I
Your
do a
Nixon's
pretty good Cory
great.
Booker. Yeah. Yeah.
Your Cory Booker's transcended.
Thank
And
you.
also you can own it.
Yeah.
Like nobody else is doing Cory Booker. Like if it weren't for the skin color thing,
I
you
know.
could make a living doing it because it's really,
Yeah.
really funny.
Thank you. Yeah. What about you guys?
Well, hold on. You got to give us a little bit. You can't just say that you do good
wait,
impressions. Give us a
give
little
me some,
Shatner.
Can you give me some prompts? Because it's difficult to just do like, because I'm doing a monologue with an impression out of
Sure.
nothing. So give me something to talk about.
Do a reaction to Trump's tariffs from Cory Booker. Whatever change Trump made today.
Yeah. Okay.
And by today,
You
we can
guys.
talk, so.
You
No,
guys.
like any day. There's going to be a change
You guys.
every day.
Yeah.
Guys. This is really important. And we need to talk about this for 25 hours. You guys, I'm super serious. Okay? I could lose my Senate seat.
Each time he does it, I get a new subtlety. It's so good. It's so good. Just for the audio listeners, I have 2 monitors in my studio, one that's in Jen's sightline and one that's in my sightline, but Jen's sightline one is actually closer. And I turn my head to look at the closer one just so I can appreciate the subtlety of the impression. Because at first I was just transfixed by the eyes as if he was on a roller coaster that has gone off of the track. But the real comedy is in the mouth, which is always slightly agape and just quivering with excitement for which nothing comes out. It is amazing. A true 10 out of 10 work of art impression by Andrew Heaton.
Thank you. I need to figure out how to do that in social media. That seems like a TikTok kind of thing, right? Because it's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do like a 3-second impression of Cory
Okay.
Booker. I think that's good. Jen, what is your best celebrity or political impression?
I have done one impression in my entire life.
Okay.
And I will not preview it because I haven't done it for, when was 2008? It was a very long time ago.
Okay.
But I did Sarah Palin for an entire night. I was waiting tables.
You can do it now.
I can't even remember. No, I don't do impressions. So that was the thing.
Roll it out. Roll it out. Come on.
No.
They
I
asked.
said no. I did not prepare for this. I need to watch some video of her. Like I prepared for that night. So no, I won't do it. But that is the only impression I've ever done.
Give us 2 words as Palin. Say no thanks.
You betcha. Say you betcha.
You betcha. I don't remember how I did it. I swear to God, I don't remember how I did it. But that's the only one I've ever done. I don't do impressions. I'm no fun.
One of my new things, I do karaoke a lot, once or twice a week. And I really like singing Rocket Man. And so I'll sing Rocket Man. And then when we get into the refrains, I'll just go full Shatner. Like it's me singing. And then I'm Rocket Man. Rocket Man. And we just like 1 or 2 people. Cause like, I don't know if you know this, Jen. Shatner did an album in the 70s where he was high as a kite on back pain medication and he can't sing. So like the lead song on it was Rocket Man. And he just speaks the whole time.
That's like me doing an impression. It's horrible and no one wants to hear it.
No, it's iconic.
It was.
Give me warning. I can study up on it. But
time till touchdown brings me round again to find. So I'll do that when I'm doing like 1 or 2 people in the audience will realize what I'm doing.
They go,
and it will be fun for them. Yeah.
The Sarah Palin thing worked for me because I look like her.
Yeah.
Especially that night.
You
I
still
did it
look
well.
like her. You could do it
I do look like her. I'm not doing it right now because I can't remember her.
Just saying.
I'm so glad I can't
Hold the
remember
ball
her.
out.
We have moved beyond Sarah Palin in this
Justin,
country.
I feel like you're quite good on Trump.
You got a bunch of good ones.
Yeah. The Trump one I've always felt a little weird about because everybody does it. Like it's very, very popular. And it is definitely a derivative of James Austin Johnson's impression because he was the first one I felt to really capture the rambly nature of Trump. Like everybody else was kind of doing broadcast Trump. And that's a lot less funny than rally Trump. Rally Trump is really one of the defining political comedy pressure points.
Your impression, because he's actually got quite a high voice. It doesn't, like when you're watching him, it doesn't seem that way because he's very tall and he's got a very big presence. But if you're listening to him in isolated audio, he's a high tenor. He doesn't have a low voice, but he has a gravelly voice. So it's a high gravelly voice. And I think you're able to get both of those.
Especially when you listen to him back in the day. Like when you watch old clips, because now a bunch of old clips are circulating with all this tariff stuff, because he's been talking about tariffs since the 80s. It's like the one thing that he's been consistent on. He has a very high voice. He has a very high and kind of rounded. It's like, well, Oprah, like that's kind of his voice. But now it is like just this battle ravaged, like he's 70 plus. And he's been
79.
speaking for an hour and a half.
79 years old, 79 years young, gonna do another 79. So I can't.
Sir Jen Briney promises us the Sarah Palin, who I knew very well.
I didn't promise shit.
I knew very well Sarah Palin. She would never leave us blue balled. No. So blue balls Jen Briney won't do the impression. She won't do it. That's the part that I really like. I like he'll have this this sweet kind of like Mayor Pete, booty judge. Like, and it's like, he's a transportation secretary.
Yeah.
It's like this very like glide path sort of way beyond it. All right, Jen, host show questions, politics and society, pop culture, entertainment, gaming, or spicy personal.
I will take politics and society for 100, please.
Who is more elite, East Coast elites or West Coast elites?
Oh, East Coast. No question. East Coast
Why?
people, like, just the difference in living there was obnoxious. Like, I didn't wear earrings and was told that was wrong. And I felt pressured to wear high heels. And there's just like these fucking rules that the East Coast people have to just be in society. And it's just the West Coast doesn't have that. It's just so much more chill on every level. Just like also like the old money is all East Coast money. And there is such a thing as old money and new money. And there's ways that you can tell between the two. And like, yeah, East Coast elites are a whole different level. Plus, like all the colleges we talk about where these people go and mix and breed, Yale, Harvard, like they're all East Coast.
They're all clustered.
I don't think there's any competition.
When do you become elite? I would like to become elite. I would like to get to that point.
Which means we can't.
You could only marry in. And even then, you would never be elite. Your kids would be half elite. And then eventually you would have to hope that succession style, you or your children were able to
Are we using
maneuver.
elite for a proxy for old money or for blue blood? Because okay, that's what we mean elite. Okay, we don't mean rich or successful. We mean like well-bred.
I mean,
I don't think the Kardashians are elite, even though they are very, very rich. They're not of the elite. Elite is a different thing. It's like they're in the power game. They know that they run the world and that they're old money, their inherited wealth. It's a different thing. Being rich doesn't qualify you.
I mean, I read an article recently on elite versus populist media that I thought was really interesting. And the point it made was that in media, when we refer to like elite or institutionalists, what we really mean are people whose social capital and success is derived from appealing to institutions. So like David Brooks, who I like, is like that. David Brooks doesn't have a giant David Brooks audience. There's not David Brooks fanatics out there. David Brooks plays nice with the New York Times and other groups in the Atlantic, and his career is building up social capital with institutions, right? Whereas like a populist doesn't have that. They're not going to go well with institutions. They do well with direct mass appeal. So like Joe Rogan is a populist media figure in the sense that he's not having to play nice with ABC or Sirius XM or whatever. He just has a big group of people that really, really like him. That made sense to me because I feel like I know people in both camps where, people that work in journalism, the Washington Post, places like that tend to be people whose careers are dependent upon being approved by institutions. And people that in podcasting tend to be more on the populist side of things of having our own direct audiences.
I think it's a good definition because then you look at like Joe Biden got to be president of the United States, but financially he's not that loaded. I think Joe Rogan has many, many, many more millions than Joe Biden does. I mean, Joe Rogan's getting paid $100 million every 3 years. I mean, the Bidens
Joe Biden officially doesn't have very much money. That's true. He officially has very little money.
I mean, it's not that he has very little money. He's definitely a millionaire, but there are people that have far more money than him that I don't think qualify as elite. But I think because Joe Biden has been a servant to global institutions, he's obviously an elite character.
If we want a definition of how impossible it is to buy your way into elite circles, this is the driving animus of Donald Trump.
Yeah, I still don't think he's elite. They don't like him.
Donald Trump was labeled a Queens guy. He was not a Manhattan guy. He wasn't an old money guy. His dad wasn't looked at as a gigantic figure. And much of his frustration has been that he can't get into those elite circles. In fact, it was one of the big things with Rupert Murdoch, that he wants Rupert Murdoch's approval, not only because of Fox, but Fox he can disrespect, and he has disrespected. He wants Murdoch's respect because Murdoch is a bedrock of the media elite of New York City and the world.
I think this institution thing is actually a pretty good proxy here of like, if Biden's a really good example of this. He's in the Senate. He's a creature of the Senate. He has all these political connections. That's what makes him elite, as opposed to somebody swooping in like Trump, who doesn't have those connections by any stretch when he comes in. He has mass appeal. He bypasses the institutions. Like the elites tend to be institution people, and the populists tend to be mass appeal people.
There is an element of sublimated monarchy to it, that it is, it's passed down by bloodline. You are powerful.
Hillary Clinton was next.
Well, I mean, even them, they were looked at as kind of new money. But I mean, if we're talking about like the elite of the elite of the elite, there's, these families that just have gigantic wealth, and we have a more unstable version of elites in America than other places around the world. Like fail sons exist because we know that people have a shit ton of money and then just piss it away, and they're not who their father is. But
we do have less of an indelible class system. Like not talking about the economics, talking about the cultural cachet which follows it. Like when I'm over in the UK, the sense of class being indelible is much more intense.
Yes.
Of you can become a billionaire, but you're a cockney, and like that's not going away. Whereas like Oklahoma, where I'm from, like you can just become a rich oil guy, and like you're now rich. Congratulations! Like you're not permanently associated with whatever your accent is in quite the same way. So I think we have more class fluidity on a cultural level than most other places have.
And yet, as Jen pointed out, if you didn't go to prep school with everybody and you're new money and you're wearing a suit that is a year out of fashion because you don't all shop at the same tailor that everybody else does because everybody else has been going to the same church forever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, if you don't know the rules,
then they will sniff you out. Like there's no there. Anytime you put it out with like elite media versus populist media, when you are given benefit by way of being a member to something, you are inherently invested in enforcing the boundary. And that's where, I've up until COVID, really, whenever I would talk to my friends in media that all went to go work at big names, there was a little element of like you did kind of waste your career from them. Like not overtly, but
it's cute what you're doing. It's great. It's great. It's great that you've made that work, Dustin.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Yeah. And they weren't snotty like that. Like my friends are, I think that they were good, but there was definitely a set. If I told them, oh, I just sold my podcast to the New York Times, they would be far happier for me than if I said my podcast just hit 100,000 subscribers and now I'm a multimillionaire. If the money was the exact same thing, and even if the reach were a little smaller, they'd be happier if I joined a mothership than if I just did stuff by myself.
It's not about the money. You can crush them financially, but they work for the New York Times, and so they are better.
And that's the thing is like, whenever we talk, it's like I make more money. I have more freedom. I have an audience that will buy my child random things. We have an audience that will buy Jen a laptop because she accidentally threw water on it. Like that is something that they will never have in their life. And yet there is an enforcement of that boundary. There is a
snobbery,
an understanding that boundary should exist, or else why are they happy? That's important.
And going back to the East Coast versus West Coast thing, the snobbery of that on the East Coast, it actually trickles down into normal people's lives in a way that I don't think it does on the West Coast. Like that's why like the West Coast rich people are running around in sweatshirts and shit. And there is an attitude about the East Coast money versus the West Coast money because the West Coast people just don't follow those old rules.
Yeah, but the West Coast stuff is like, it's got its own annoyance in that.
Oh yeah, it's over the top casual, but
yes, because it's
different
performative
thing.
Casual. And it's just like, a billionaire wants to stop a guy from bagging your groceries because he wants to pretend that he cares. And there's an annoying. But
look at Zuck, right?
Bohemian.
Like Zuck is a Harvard guy who then goes over to San Francisco and he becomes a sweatshirt guy. He knows the rules and he's refusing to follow them, but he moved to the West Coast to do that. So they're very different cultures, but you can feel it when you're on those coasts.
All right, I'll take pop culture and entertainment. What's the worst condiment and why is it mayo? I do hate mayo.
I like mayo. I think it's very versatile. You can mix it with so many things.
Oh.
I eat my French fries with mayonnaise. I'm a mayonnaise French fries guy.
You're so British.
Yeah. But I think it's a Dutch thing. I learned it from the Dutch.
The freaky deaky Dutch.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of do the same thing because mayo is an ingredient in ranch, and I will dip my fries in ranch. There's also like the secret sauce that you get at a bunch of burger places. It's usually mayo and ketchup mixed up.
That's
mayo is just a mix.
Never go with the secret sauce.
Fat and dairy. I love it. I love fat and dairy. I love cheese.
What's a tuna fish sandwich without the mayo serving as the glue?
That might be the only thing that I have willingly eaten with mayonnaise on it. But even then, I really only did that as a kid. I don't know if I've ever.
A potato
don't
salad.
Like it. Don't.
How do you all feel about Vegemite or what's the other one? There's Vegemite. There's the Australian one and the English one. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've had it once. It was all right. It was like a spread, right?
Yeah, it's like almost the same consistency of butter, but it's brown. It's like a kind of yeast extract. So it's very, very, very salty. It's very salty. It's almost as salty as like a sardine. So
I
I'll
love
have
that.
it, but only on occasion. Like I don't eat it all the time. It's like an occasional treat.
So what do you not like?
Horseradish.
I love horseradish.
Well,
I like to clear the nostrils out. I like
Oh, I hate it
spicy
so much.
stuff.
my family, we used to use it as a weapon because my mom would put it out because on Christmas she does a Christmas beef like roast thing. And so if you left the table to go to the bathroom or do anything else, we were going to put horseradish in your mashed potatoes and like mix it up. And so for years, like we would go to the bathroom bringing our plate with us because we didn't trust the
That's
rest of the table. That's how
vile.
much we hate
That's
it.
truly vile. Heaton, the play is to you. We have show host questions, politics and society, pop culture and entertainment, gaming, and spicy personal. We've eliminated the only impressions and personality question.
All right, I'll do the politics and society one.
For or against daylight savings time?
Daylight saving.
I think that whole thing's stupid and we should get rid of it. Not only is it dumb, like it's not even for the reasons people think it is. There's this persistent nonsensical rumor that we do it for farmers. Hello, I'm descended from farmers. My Uncle Dan is a farmer. My cousins are farmers. They don't need Congress to tell them when to get up and mow their corn or whatever they do. They wake up like before dawn. That's what farmers do. They get up stupid early. They're not getting congressional mandates and congressional directives to work on the farm. They don't have to coordinate with other people. And they're like done by, well, let me rephrase it. They've already put in a lot of work by 1 p.m. I suspect they work much longer than that. But it doesn't have anything to do with farmers. They don't need it. Like I don't know if you guys ever met a rooster. Roosters are assholes. There's this idea that roosters crow at dawn. No, they fucking crow all the goddamn time because they're fucking assholes. So that's not why. The reason we have daylight savings time is in World War I, the Congress thought that we could save coal by trying to manipulate when people went home and when they were using their lights. So they wanted to try to limit the amount of electricity consumers were doing so that we'd have more coal for the war effort. And we stopped doing it. World War II starts up again. We bring back daylight savings time to save coal in order to fight the Germans. And my position is we're probably not going to fight the Germans for another 20, 30 years. So we don't have to worry about this for a while. And in the meantime, I would rather just not fuck with it. Now, it's a lot better now because most of my electronic gadgets just do it automatically now. And I don't even know about it. But like in my 20s, I would like show up to church an hour early and I didn't know why. And I would like have to go there for the really long
just feel like
things.
a total jamoke. Just a total
Well, no, I would
asshole.
think God tricked me because I would show up and I'd be like, I'm here an hour early and I'm doing the chanting now. I thought I was coming 5 minutes late. What's happening here? Did the Almighty? Why should I be chanting? Now, like I don't even find out about daylight savings till afterwards, which is nice. But I think it's mostly nonsensical. And I think part of the reason that this persists, aside from the fact that it's just difficult to pass legislation, is that there are these proxy fights between retail and entertainment. So like retail want to have people stay out as late as possible. Like malls want you to stay out late and TV doesn't. TV wants you to go home so that you watch TV. So there are these various factions within commerce that are either it's beneficial for them to have you out late or it's beneficial for them to have you in early. And I would just prefer we quit doing it.
So this is the question. And Donald Trump was initially into the idea of eliminating daylight savings time. But when he was asked about it during one of his marathon signing sessions, he said, well, the issue isn't whether or not I would do it. I would do it. It's just that nobody can agree on which way it goes.
It's true. The golfers want to have the early mornings, and then the rest of us, most of us, want to have the light go later. But it's people have different priorities.
I think we should have it. I think we should have it later for this reason.
Okay, so that means that
you're not a morning person. Is that why?
Yes.
We get more sunlight later in the day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I want sunlight later in the day. Listen, all of you insufferable morning people are very impressive. And would it not be even more impressive for you to wake up before the sun itself so that in addition to all of the wonderful productive things you do, you could know that you beat the sun? This is to your benefit, my friends. Yeah, see, there you go. Problem solved.
Wow. One way or the other, like you're starting work in the dark or you're coming home in the dark. Like you just kind of have to pick
yeah,
one.
that was the one thing. I think it might have even been this Trump clip that I'm thinking of where he was like, people don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. Or they don't want their kids to walk to school in the dark.
But I think more kids are walking home and having their free time in the afternoon. So when I think of safety, I kind of like having the light be later in the day, because in my experience, when I was a kid, my parents dropped me off at school and I found my own way home. And so I would have liked to have the light when I'm walking home, because that's when I'm playing sports or like doing whatever. Like that was the more active part of the day for most of society. Like too bad golfers, but that's what I would prefer. But I just like when I think of this issue, for me, it's about safety. And there have been so many studies that show that screwing with people's sleep schedules, it like actually hurts people.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember which way it is, but one of the changes, there's more heart attacks. And this has been proven over and over and over again. There's car accidents that happen because people are driving tired. So there's really no upside to it other than like, it's just what we do.
We save coal to fight the Germans.
Yeah, there's not enough upside to continue with the risks, but I mean, Trump's right. Like the fight about which way to go is so real.
That's the bigger one.
I've watched it in Congress.
More than the fact that you get rid of it.
Yeah, and people get really passionate about it. And I'm watching the debate in Congress, and it's so passionate that I really think we're at a real impasse here.
What do you think Sarah Palin would say about it?
I'm not doing this.
Just asking.
You betcha.
Right.
Okay, then. Those, the difference between cougars and hockey moms? Lipstick.
Yeah.
I'm knocking this out of the park. You're welcome, audience. You're welcome.
How do
Jen.
you remember all these things? It's been so long.
Because like in some alternate universe, in a better reality, Jen, where President Huntsman is leading our country to glory, I am a member of the Saturday Night Live. I have become the Phil Hartman of that universe in his absence.
Gotcha. Well, I have never been a performer, so I'm not going to start today. I'm not. This is why you don't invite me on Great Night, because I'm no fun.
You've been on Great Night.
Only once.
Do you want to come on more?
If invited. But not really, not if you're going to make me do Sarah Palin impression.
Justin, invite her on every Tuesday for 3 months just to show her what's what.
I would study for Sarah Palin if you asked me to for something like Great Night, but I'm not just going to
We're going to save it for a live show.
Okay.
All right. Show or host questions, politics and society, pop culture and entertainment, gaming, or spicy personal.
Let's go spicy personal. Fuck it.
Ooh. Total number of times you've had sex in a moving vehicle.
In a moving vehicle? That's a hard 0.
I thought you were a trained person.
Oh, I am a trained person. It's still a 0.
No train stops. Night car shenanigans.
So Joe and I haven't done a European night car. We've only done the Amtraks, and those are basically like even if you have a sleeper car, you're basically sleeping in an airplane bathroom. Like they're so small and so cramped. It's just, no, we haven't done, maybe a cruise ship.
Okay. That moves.
Yeah. I'm going to say like a couple times.
Yeah.
We're not really big cruisers.
Are you?
But like a moving car, I wouldn't even know how that
man?
works.
Heaton?
Am I a what?
Cruise ships. Do you like cruise ship
No,
vacations?
it's a floating buffet. No, thanks.
Have you ever been on one?
No, what I would like is those Viking cruises where you're going to different places and you go sightseeing.
I'm going on one of those. I'm going on a geezer cruise with my mom.
That sounds fun to me because I like sightseeing, but just hanging out on a boat in the middle of the ocean does not appeal to me very much. Like maybe I've had some friends try to invite me on a Star Trek cruise, but it was pricey enough that I was like, that's kind of like
Star Trek cruise.
Oh yeah, these are like huge.
That sounds insufferable.
Well, basically it's a Star Trek convention, but you're on a boat.
So you can't leave unless you
cannot
throw
leave.
yourself off the boat.
But it does mean realistically,
why would you do that?
You wind
Jen?
up mingling with the talent more.
Yeah, you like drink a pina colada with Jonathan Frakes or something.
I mean, I get that because I'm still interested in the Kesha cruise. I think that sounds like a boatload of fun.
The Kesha cruise.
Yeah, this is a real thing.
Justin, what moving vehicles have you come on?
Why am I even shooting ropes on moving vehicles? I don't know if I have.
And you're calling me a prude.
I know. No,
How dare
this
you?
is
Am I the biggest whore on this podcast?
I think you've just been on more cruises.
maybe.
Because I would say, I mean, unless I was going, certainly not a plane.
I do want to do a plane, but I'm a large person. Like I'm 6 feet. My husband's 6 feet.
You'd be rattling that bathroom there.
We can't do it discreetly.
Unless you were very silent.
It's going to have to be a private plane situation. And let's be real, I'm never going to have that situation.
I look, as soon as the Sarah Palin impression takes off, there's no stopping you. Private plane. Here we come.
Okay.
All on the back of this one impression that we're going to loose upon America.
Oh, we lost Heaton. That was too much for him.
Yeah. As soon as
I got more famous than him, he had to
exactly.
flee.
He had to get out of there. He had to
handle
leave.
it.
Yeah.
Ooh, what about a limo? I haven't done it.
I have not.
It's on the
either.
bucket list, but
I have not. The old like roll up the partition.
yeah, because I'm not rich enough to have the limo paid for just like me and another person. I'm usually in it with 15 other people.
Which that's awkward.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it in that situation. But that is a moving vehicle situation where
I also kind of feel that realistically, like if you're in a copulatory situation for like the Mile High Club, for example, the fantasy of it is like, oh, it's like super hot, blah, blah, blah. But realistically, you're just kind of putting it in and taking it out to say that you did it, right?
Yeah.
Like
there's nothing hot about those bathrooms.
No, like it's just kind of like touch blue, make it true. And now you can say that it happened because technically it happened.
Now, hot could be in the cockpit. If it's you and the pilot, I know they have like extra seats back there.
I was going to say that now we're into some like crash, Cronenberg level stuff that it's like, it's hot because we're endangering the lives of several hundred people.
But where else on a flight are you going to have the privacy, a door, enough space? Like it's only
like an
the
Emirates
cockpit.
flight.
I guess like.
Yeah, like one of those first classes with a bed.
Yeah, that's true. They have those. But I am too poor to have ever even seen one of those in real life. So I still think they're a myth.
One of our friend, Darren Kitchen, one time was he was a speaker at a conference in Australia, and because he's a plane nerd, wanted to come flight these certain flights, and one of them was an Emirates flight. So we wound up flying the wrong way around the world to get back to California, but so he could do one of those Emirates flights.
Because he wanted are those an A380, the double decker planes?
I don't know.
I feel like I'd talk to Darren about this.
The
question is,
he did it by himself, so he wouldn't.
I was gonna ask,
he wasn't
like,
popping off. No,
was my girlfriend with him?
No. This was.
I was gonna give her a real high five
in a different era. In fact, he came right from the airport after drinking and sleeping on flights for a day and a half because he went the wrong way around the world, and then met us at a tiki bar, and things got sloppy, very fast.
Was this the tiki bar in Alameda?
No, this was the one in Oakland.
Same shit, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had sex in a moving vehicle, but I've had sex in non-moving
have the
vehicles.
Scamp.
Although
I guess you have to drive the car to make it move.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the scamp when
Wallace wasn't driving the car.
Yeah, right.
You were banging one out in the scamp.
I don't think a moving scamp is a good idea, even if you're not having sex. I don't think that's a particularly good plan. I had sex on top of a battleship one time. It was a decommissioned battleship, but it wasn't.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't.
Let's go.
It wasn't moving though, but there was something about that with those giant cannons over you. You're like, shit. It was, there was a thing. And
when
I
you busted,
had to
did you do that? When you busted, did you do that whistle that they do when the captain comes aboard?
No, just whenever I'm about to come, I shout, "Oh, the humanity!" to signal my assent.
Nice.
Andrew
Heaton, you have lived.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, had to replace the shocks on my old SUV.
So, are we saying that I'm the only one
who has sex in a
meeting?
moving vehicle? Yeah,
well,
I guess so.
None of mine were
my
moving.
dad's
though.
gonna be so proud.
None of mine were moving though.
Yeah, exactly. That's why she's the only one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have had nautical sex.
Right.
Nautical.
Okay. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. High five to me.
Wait, I had sex on a sailboat and it was rocking. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was docked.
It was docked.
So were you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll go show host questions. Based on the vibes when this show started, how did Heaton end up being the sex god, Jen the storm goddess, and Justin the dad? How do you think that the initial vibes of people with the show have changed? How do you think we've changed as the show has moved on?
I mean, you sperminated Ashley, so that's
Speaking
how
of
that
ropes,
happened.
Yeah, we had a consequence of one of them. That now
so that's how you became a dad.
Well, I don't know. Do you think that I've changed? That my demeanor has changed since becoming a father?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to speak out of turn here. Justin and I used to do a bump of cocaine every single show right before we came on air, and then he gets a kid.
Bash Brothers fist.
He's worried.
He's
worried about a heart attack now. Who is this guy?
I think you have more earnest moments on the show since you became a dad. Like when you talk about Bella, you're not fucking around and like being a troll. Like you actually are human when you talk about her.
I try not to.
But it happens.
I think I made a joke about selling her into white slavery on Great Night. Like
she would sell too. She is so beautiful.
Top price.
She's the most beautiful baby I've ever seen. And
I'm listening, Dubai. I'm listening.
Yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous. Those eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I've always wanted to be, I mean, as much as, you know, I am a product of the stuff that I loved growing up. And there were two things that were very, very present. Number one, trying to go for the joke wherever you can, trying to be as fast as you can, but also earnest. And you never really want to be too far away from the earnestness. And I think that that's one of the things that I always want to do on shows that I do is just make sure that everybody feels like when they meet me in person, if they meet me in person, that they're not really getting anybody all that different than what shows up on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the show might be something that's dialed up. It's a portion of my personality that's taken up a notch, but I always do want to be real as you can. Heaton?
Yeah, I'll say something that's changed. I don't know. This does not really have to do with our interpersonal dynamic, but my approach to being a pundit on this show has changed in a good way, I think. In that when we first started, one of the great hesitancies I had to do this at all was, look, I'm not an expert at this stuff. Like there are these specific verticals that I know enough to be dangerous on. Like I know, I'm okay as a layman. I'm pretty good as a layman at law and economics, but I'm not an economist and I'm not an attorney. And I don't know all this other stuff. So I was real hesitant to get in. And there was a light bulb moment I had where I was like, oh, wait a minute. None of the other fucking pundits know either. It's just that they're just fucking okay with being full of shit. And they're like so confident and opportunistic that they just act as though they know all this shit. But I would watch some of these other, I'm not talking about YouTube, by the way. I would watch people that were on other shows and I would I would watch them and I go, oh, wait a minute. They don't know what they're talking about. And it took me a minute to go, oh, everybody in this industry is to some extent two children in a trench coat trying to get into a rated R film. And the best you can do is be honest, acknowledge your blind spots, and give the best analysis you can. And I feel that I'm a lot more confident in being able to do that now. And I do try to point out when I don't know something, but also not kneecapping myself all the time of like, now I'm not an expert in this thing. Like very few people are. And people are relying on us non-experts who are still like engaging and have a broad range of opinions to give analysis. And so I feel much more comfortable doing that than when we first started.
And this show, I don't know how much I don't think anything has really changed with our dynamic, but I know that I have changed profoundly. And this show was a big part of it because I had been doing Congressional Edition. We started this for about a decade, but I'm very careful with those words. If I say something out of turn, I'm able to edit it out. So it's like nothing goes out unless I've approved it like at least twice, right? Yeah. I was hesitant to do this show because I'm word vomity and I'm emotional. And sometimes I say things that I don't mean. And that was especially true when I was drinking. And so we started this show, I think it was May of 22. Does that sound about right? Almost 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I think we were doing it about 6 months.
21, I think.
Well,
no, that can't be right.
We were doing Justin's show during January 6th of 2021. Yes. So we still didn't have our own show.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And actually I came here for a month.
Yeah. We didn't start this show until I moved to Austin.
Yeah.
We were doing versions of it on PX3.
Yeah.
Which, God, that was great
It
content.
was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I moved here, I just kind of had to look at myself and just be like, okay, like if I'm in this cycle of partying on the weekends and being grumpy all week and anxious and hungover and sometimes drinking on the show, like I'm going to be making those mistakes that I'm afraid of. And so if I take that out of my life, then I will be much more careful with my words. I'll feel more comfortable talking to these guys. I'll be more like even keeled. And I know that during the second Trump administration, which feels much more chaotic and frankly like scarier than the first one, I feel more in control of all it. Like I feel more rational. I feel more even keeled. So it's like this show, by making me do something I was afraid to do, has fundamentally like changed me as a person. Now, most of the time we've been doing the show, I've been kind of, if not dry, like drying out. So I don't know how much it affects my relationship with you guys or the audience, but I know that I am a completely different person than I was before we started this.
I don't, if you only like Severance style, the only time I knew you was just on the show, I don't know if I would be able to tell.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I've known you. We're friends off the show. And so that is something that was very, very personal for you to go through. And I know it was transformative.
Well, and you blacked out with me. Like you knew that version.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell
you
yeah.
liked her and I did too. We had a lot of fun.
I'll say this. It was good that our drinking friendship was short and sweet.
Yeah, it's true. Because we were going to be trouble together.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like,
we're waiting for an order of French fries. We ended up taking shots on the ground of a train station. Like we were animals.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah, it was Berlin, right?
Yeah.
That was Berlin. Europe's dumb. Why don't they have later bars?
Train station worked for me, man.
Train
that was really
station,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I think like the growth, the personal growth, I think is always the best part. And I don't believe that there's a way that you can fake this kind of authenticity. Like you can't fake the fact. There's a podcast that I listen to where maybe I'm making this up. Maybe I'm not, but I feel that as a child of divorce, I know that the co-hosts don't like each other now. They used to like each other. Now they don't like each other. And
is it great night?
Painful. Yes. It's painful for me to listen to. And I know I've done this long enough that I am aware that like, if it's not really real, it's very hard to fake.
Yeah.
And if you can fake it, it means you're a sociopath and you were never going to come off as real to begin with. It was always going to be something that felt authentic or inauthentic.
I will say something about the way my relationship with the two of you has changed.
Okay.
Since we started this. In the beginning, I did consider you. Yeah, put that fucking gun down. I did consider you my coworkers. So I remember going to a bar with you once and just telling Joe, like, okay, we're going to take it easy. Like these guys are my coworkers. Like we're going to be cool. And I wouldn't say like the really, really risque things. Now the most fucked up things I think could go into our Signal chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like now you guys are like my safe space when it comes to like friendship and just like we've crossed that barrier. Like I don't think of you as coworkers now. Like I can be my messy self. I can be definitely emotional. Yeah. So I don't think of you as like my work life. Like there's no separation between my work life and personal life.
Heaton, we're all best friends, right? Right?
I think so.
I think
Heaton,
of you both.
Right?
I think of you both as very likable resources in my professional life. Like Jen, you burn bright like coal. And Justin. Justin, you're like nuclear power. Both important utilities, part of our overall energy portfolio.
Right.
Or everything above.
So as we just heard, Heaton has moved to DC. That has changed.
No, that's all very true. No, I was holding back. Like I went back to Oklahoma for a funeral recently, which went about as well as those things can. But prior to that, there was some shit that I was going through in my family. I don't really want to talk about it, but that was stuff that I talked to Jen and Justin about when we were off camera. Jen called me and was like, by the way, if you need to say the things that you're thinking, but you can't say them out loud, call me. And Jen basically was like, I will be your verbal whipping boy if you need to get some stuff off your chest. And so, yeah, the friendship's very real.
Yeah.
All right, rapid fire. We'll each do one last one, and then we'll be out of here. Heaton, what's your pick?
Let's do the
show host questions, policy, society, pop culture, gaming, or spicy personal.
Let's do the spicy personal one.
Sluts. Who's each of our celebrity cheat?
Ooh.
Celebrity hall pass.
So mine.
Have you discussed it?
Oh yeah.
You have discussed it.
Yeah. But I think mine might have to change because he's getting so old. But like mine has been Brad Pitt forever.
He'll still knock it out.
I don't know. I don't know. I liked the version of Brad Pitt from like Fight Club. Like that was the one I wanted. Like the old man one that was in what was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, like it's not as
He's still
hot.
got the cum gutters.
You have a way with words, Justin. He's hot for an old man now, but like he's not Tyler Durden anymore. Like I wanted
That's
Tyler
what you
Durden.
wanted.
I wanted Tyler Durden. I wanted to take that robe off. Yeah. Big fan of Tyler Durden.
You are so millennial code.
I know.
Heaton?
You know, I might just go with Tina Fey, whatever age she is. Like, she's like a long-term crush of mine. And if we're going to do a one-off, like, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I'm taking this personally.
Kind of funny. If not her, maybe Ellie Kemper. Same reasons. Like, I like playful, funny people.
Funny girls.
I like funny girls. Like, my love language is play. That's what I like. That's doing bits is my love language. Now, granted, this is a one-night stand, so maybe I'm putting too much thought into this. Natalie Portman,
you probably are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is just my own experience in the world of improv and sketch comedy, but many women that are very, very nice. Some are dear friends. All of them kind of nuts. Everybody in comedy on some level is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
I think it is a particularly cruel industry to women. It is a hard thing to be in that field as usually a minority of performers, while the most insecure, psychotic men in the world, by way of proxy, are trying to have sex with you. And you are nearly exclusively creating relationships with it. It is a hall of mirrors of nobody paid attention to me, or my parents broke up when I was young. Like there's just a lot going on in the world of comedy. And I think it is warping to everybody, and specifically to women.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So do you have an established one? Like
Sarah Palin.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Both of you picked basically me, which thank you.
I don't know.
So you haven't had the
hold on.
conversation.
We have
Jen,
not,
you picked
no.
Brad Pitt, which is basically me. Was that not a proxy for me?
You want to know what's funny about my conversation with my husband? Is that he didn't really get the assignment, because for his pick, he picked one of my actual friends.
There you go. That's fucking funny. Good job, Joe. That's funny. Because like the funny thing is like you're having
Mine's
this
Brad Pitt.
conversation.
Mine's your sister.
Yeah, exactly. Go with the
like, you
obtainable.
can't pick her.
Yeah. Then like later just say like,
could you text her?
sweetheart, I would never ever do it. But if you died, I would totally after an appropriate amount of time, like 3 or 4 weeks, then I would hit that.
To be totally honest, the whole celebrity hall pass thing always seemed a little weird to me, because it's like, if I was in a situation where that was a possibility, I'd just cheat on my wife like a man. like why do I need to pre-auth this?
Because there's no guilt involved with this one person.
Stop it.
I bet there would be.
Guilt
There
stops
would
me
be.
from a lot of things.
Yeah, there'd be
Guilt
guilt.
stops me to have permission. Like my husband has already given me permission to get laid at his funeral. And I do think that makes
You
a
don't
difference.
need his permission for that.
That's
Yeah.
what he says. He says he's dead and it doesn't matter. But this way I know, because he knows that I would feel guilty being like, ooh, like
Back on the market
but
immediately.
exactly. Like it's
Realistic.
a bad look. But his whole thing is, if it makes you feel better, like go for it. So now that I know I have his permission, I won't have this like imaginary timeline
That's
that I
a
have
big
to
mistake
wait.
by Joe, because he's going to get pushed in front of a train at some point, because Jen knows she can just turn it back on. You
Yeah.
need a little guilt just to keep your own self-preservation there.
Yeah. The freedom from that's what it is.
All right.
That's what it is.
All right, we're going fast.
But who's your celebrity? You can't get out of this question.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
She's one.
Good looking lady.
Big boobs.
Yeah.
Looks actually a lot like your wife.
Really?
You have a type.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Jen.
We've talked about ourselves a lot, which I really enjoy, but let's do politics and society.
Yeah.
Politics and society. Here, we'll save this for the next one. Should we allow full-time work for kids 14 and above?
No.
Why?
Because that is a learning age. That's when you're in school. And I remember how hard school was. And so even just doing sports on top of it, I wasn't getting enough sleep. My brain was still forming. And so it's an important time to get rest. And so to stick a full-time job on top of school, which is a full-time job, that's a schedule that full-grown adults shouldn't be forced to do. And it's not a situation where it's optional if you're doing that. You're doing it to like have money for the family or like whatever it is.
Papa died and mama's in a wheelchair. Sorry, kiddo, you can't raise money for her because old nanny state Jen said no.
You can have a part-time job, but I think that you would end up with a lot of
cap that wage.
You would have You would have You would have child exploitation with a schedule that is unhealthy for them if you're asking them to do school and work at the same time. So until you're 18 and like high school's done, it's not a fair thing to allow a child to do.
Heaton?
I don't think I'd have full-time work for 14-year-olds. I would be very much in favor of part-time work. I would be very much in favor of apprenticeships. I think apprenticeships should become mainstay in American public schooling. But in terms of full-time, no, I think that's probably a bit much. Maybe you could talk me out of this. You were floating some good libertarian arguments, Justin. Maybe you'd get me to come around on there. But my immediate retort would be, I am very, very big on consenting adults being able to do whatever they want that doesn't hurt anybody. 14-year-olds don't qualify as consenting adults. They're still in a state that I'm not going to give them full adulthood autonomy. And I do see concerns that would result from having full-time jobs available. But again, apprenticeships, part-time jobs, I think would be a good idea.
I worked in high school. My schedule was rough. Like I played sports, I worked, and I went to school. And so if I had to do 8 hours of that work, there's no sleep time left. It would have been horrible.
Okay, I was trying to look up when you can drop out of school.
Because that's what we want.
Well, no, I'm curious. I was curious to see whether or not there was a state where you could drop out of school at 14.
I'm guessing 16. Probably 16 most states.
It's usually 16.
I think it's 16, yeah.
I think it does go state by state. But I would say in general, rural states tend to have these laws relaxed a little bit more than city dweller states. Like I think like in some rural states, Oklahoma might be like this, Heaton, but you can like get at least a tractor driver's license at 13 or 14.
I bet that's true, and I'm fine with it. I shouldn't have been driving a tractor at 13. My cousins are fine. This is gonna sound horrible. People aren't gonna like this, but like a few years ago, like my Uncle Dan gave like one of my child cousins like a hunting rifle that would alarm a lot of other people, and I'm like, nope, I think that kid's just fine. Like I know that kid. I know Uncle Dan. Uncle Dan wouldn't have done it unless he was okay. The kid seems fine to me. 13-year-old tractor's license. If you can pass the thing, good for you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I don't even know that
I'm going to need these 14-year-olds here with full-time jobs to start screwing in these iPhone screws because I'm not trying to see inflation all that big. So I need 14-year-olds full-time jobs. Let's go. Yes, that's a big yes for me. And I will go, I'll bring it on home. This is a big lore question, show host questions. Where does Heaton purchase his wardrobe? Give us some sartorial
that is a good question.
Advice as we shuffle on out of here.
Yeah. Well, so the one I'm wearing right now, I got when I was on vacation. That's not going to help you very much. But I'll say that the two things that are in the realm of suits, they are reasonably priced. I would go to BD TaylorMade if you want tweed. You can get approachable prices for a tweed blazer or suit. I have a couple from them. And then there's one called Studio Suits that I get most of my linen from. Most of the linen suits you've seen, I've been through Studio Suits. Now, it's suits, so it's going to be pricey, but within the spectrum of suits, it's actually very affordable. So Studio Suits and BD TaylorMade would be my 2 recommendations for you.
There we go.
I love it.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us for our AMA. You will get more AMA if you are on our Patreon, patreon.com/we're not wrong. Obviously, we can't do emails on a show where we didn't talk about other stuff, but we'll talk about the emails from last week, the week after this one. Till next time, this is your old pal, Justin Robert Young, saying, we're not wrong. But I was wrong to admit that Heaton and Jen are also on the show, which is normally what I do. So I'm wrong, but we aren't. Know the fucking difference.
Dog and Pony Show audio.